What was your worst dating app surprise?
Story 1.
I was living in Kentucky and got a message one night from a lady in Texas. Said she was from the town I was living in, not my hometown, and wanted to know if we knew each other since we were the same age. Said she wanted to come back home for a visit, but had burned some bridges when she was younger and didn't feel welcome. I told her if she wanted to come, I would pick her up at the airport, and she could stay in my extra bedroom. No expectations whatsoever. She came, spent the night. She is not someone I would even be interested in. I was only being a friend. The next night I went to work, came home, and she was in the extra room with the door closed. I went to bed, woke up Saturday morning. She had the door cracked, but appeared to still be in bed. Decided I would wait until she said something or came out. She finally called my name when I passed by and asked me if I would open the door so she could talk to me. I did. She said she wasn't feeling good. Told me she was having a GI bleed, gastrointestinal, and was apologizing for leaving blood all over the bed and floor all the way to the bathroom. I told her that she needed an ambulance, and was she okay if I called one? And I asked her was she going to go with them if I did. She said she would, so I called 911. The ambulance came and took her to the hospital. I cleaned up blood most of the day until time to go to work again on Friday night. Came home after work, heard nothing from her, and her stuff was still in my house. Saturday morning, I get a call. The guy says he is her brother. He said, "I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but XXX died in the hospital last night." Her sister called me the next day, and we arranged for me to get her stuff to her. Another sister emailed me about a month later and said she had been a terrible alcoholic for most of her adult life, and it had destroyed her digestive system. Gave up dating apps after that. Meet my wife shortly afterwards. Edit. At the time this happened, we were both around 50. It was a rural area where generally people help each other out. I knew the risk, decided to take it, partly due to our ages, and partly because I am 6 feet 4 inches and 210 pounds. She was in bad health, barely mobile, and no means of transportation while visiting. Where was she going to go with any of my stuff that was mostly hand-me-downs anyways? Nightmare, yes, but at the same time, you can feel proud of yourself. You gave a sketchy person a chance, probably allowing her the hope of unburning some of those burned bridges. You treated her with respect and concern, so at least she felt somewhat safe during her final ordeal. Nothing to regret about your behavior at all. I hope that has brought you some peace to balance the trauma of it all.
Story 2.
We were making out in my car in a public parking lot at like 2 a.m. The cops showed up, and when they asked why we weren't home, we both lived within about a mile. He said his wife and kids were home. Your comment reminded me of one of the most memorable Tinder dates I had back in college. I was like 19 and went on a date with a guy in his late 20s or early 30s. When he brought me back to campus, we were sitting in his car talking for a while. A campus security officer, CSO, drove up and asked what was going on. My date responded by saying we were just talking, and the CSO asked me if that was true, and if I was okay or felt safe. I assured him I was, and he gave an answer that sounded like he wasn't convinced, but said we can't stay parked there. So I said goodnight and went inside while the CSO stuck around to see me enter my dorm. When my date got home, he went on a rant about how unbelievable it was that the CSO would imply that he was a predator. His entire attitude about the situation made me question whether I actually was safe, and I immediately blocked him.
Story 3.
On his dating profile, looked emo and cool. No tooth smiling photos, and a picture of his 2-year-old daughter on his shoulders. When he showed up, he looked like Cricket from Always Sunny after the gang ducked him up. Missing teeth, black and yellow for the ones he had left. His daughter was now 7 years old. So the photos were years and years out of date. Looked emo and cool. No tooth smiling photos. That's enough of a red flag. I was going to say, if you're still putting off Bexy, emo, and cool non-smiling selfies in the 2020s as a person on a dating app in your mid-30s, I'll immediately think you're into heavy drugs and or haven't developed mentally since 2008. It's fine if it's just one photo because you clearly like the style, but have mentally moved on, and the rest are normal. Like, here's me and my dog. Here's me and my baby niece smiling at the beach. Here's me hiking in the Rockies with my friends. But if you only have non-smiling, dark, bad boy, artsy emo selfies in your 30s, red flag, red flag, red flag.
Story 4.
I went on a date with a girl. She looked beautiful, just like her profile. Had a great time laughing, talking about life. It was awesome. Then right before I dropped her off at her place, she turns to me and says, "Just so you know, I'm a lesbian. I don't date men, and I'm not attracted to men physically. I would like to have beep with you just to make sure." Huh. I was insulted, flattered, and honored all at the same time. Then she told me she was currently in a 3-year relationship with a woman. And she didn't know about this. Huh, I have a similar story. First date, not through an app, but whatever. We had such a good time. She was beautiful, funny, and so engaging. We were in my car looking out over the river. And I mentioned something about the last woman I dated being deathly afraid of water. My date turned white as a ghost. "Wait, you're not gay?" she said finally. "No," I said, confused. "I asked you out to dinner, remember?" Yeah, I thought you were gay. And we're going to be my gay friend. My husband is going to be so mad."
Story 5.
This was a long time ago. Long story short, I got catfished. Now I have nothing against individuals with dwarfism, but it was not as advertised. And when she showed up, I was obviously taken back. Now maybe I'm too nice. I figured the worst that could happen was having a nice conversation and a glass of wine, and I'd be out of there. In the middle of dinner, she pulls out a 2 inches thick binder full of lighting fixtures. I got catfished by a woman with dwarfism who simultaneously tried to sell me on some wild LED MLM scheme. Only date I've ever walked out of.
Story 6.
Went for a burger with this lady. Said she was going to grab some smokes from the store across the street. See her across the street talking to some homeless people, thinking she was being friendly. 15 minutes later of watching her and being done with the night, she finally comes and tells me she tried fentanyl from those homeless people, as English comprehension is hard for some of you, as if it was a casual thing. Immediately told her the date was done and drove her home and blocked her.
If you enjoy our channel, we'd love to invite you to become a member. Joining is easy.
Become a
Just
member.
click the join
Simply
button
click the
on
join
our channel
button on my channel
homepage or beneath
homepage
any
or
of our
under
videos.
any of my videos.
Your
Membership
support means
start
the
at
world
just
to us. And as a member,
$3.99 per
you'll
month
gain access
and can
to
be canceled
exclusive
at any
perks
time.
and content.
Thank you for being a part of our community.
Thank you for being
and we
part
hope
of our
to see you as a
community.
member soon.
We look forward to welcoming you as a member soon.